So block 2, and we are moving into a strength bias. Now, this doesn't mean you're just going to do strength movements. It just means that particularly in those main lifts, that's going to be the focus, pushing the intensity. So the weight we lift a little bit more, but maintaining obviously good form throughout. And then we're going to microdose the other aspects of fitness. So all that means is we're going to keep them in there and keep them ticking over. But they're not necessarily the main focus. So this is an overview of the week, and we will dive into it a little bit in a moment. But essentially, it's a very similar format. You got your optional conditioning on a Tuesday, and then you've got 3 main days, and then a bit more of a functional added variety day on Saturday. So the Monday, Wednesday, Friday are your key ones you're looking to really make sure you hit. This first week is a little bit different because we are going to test our 1 rep max strength. We're actually going to test our 3 rep max. And from here, we're going to be able to estimate what our 1 rep max would be. So the way we've done this is that within a 10 to 12 minute window, if I expand this view, within a 10 to 12 minute window, you're going to build up to a heavy 3 rep max. If you don't feel confident doing that, it's not something you've done before, and not too worried about that 1 rep max, then you can just go into the initial wave loading that we're going to have throughout this block. So 7 reps, then 5 reps, then 3 reps. And the RPE that you see here will correlate to percentages that we will use for those who are going to do their percentage 1 rep max. But we're just looking at a gradual increase in intensity and weight there. So that's the same for your main lifts. On the Monday, we are going to be looking at the back squat. Then the Wednesday, you're looking at bench press. And then on the Friday, it will be a hip thrust. So we're not going to do a deadlift for our hinge. We're going to do a hip thrust, okay? The other thing that has changed is on this Monday, we now have this power sequence, okay? So this final bit down here, starting with a 6 to 9 minute EMOM. And this is where we're going to start to look into some more ballistic, explosive movements into your training. So whilst we're getting the heavy lifting, we're also getting those faster movements to make sure that we've got a balanced approach to training. And then on the accessories and the secondary lifts, that's where we're going to keep our hypertrophy focus, that building that lean mass. And then if you're looking to drop body fat, that's also where we've got the higher rep ranges to make sure that we're still hitting that stimulus along with the nutrition and step guidance that hopefully you received in your email the other day. So lots going on. The big theme is that those main lifts, those key lifts, we're really going to look into establish a 3 rep max this week before putting it into some percentage work next week. If you don't want to hit that 3 rep max, that's fine. Just hit those decreasing waves of 753. And then on our accessories and our power sequence, you're looking for nice, big, aggressive movements on the way up and then controlling on the way down. We're going to build the complexity on these jumps as well across the block. So it starts with a relatively simple or less impactful movements, and then we can drive that intensity again as we move forward. On the Tuesday this week, we've just kept it very, very simple because the higher intensity of the end of last block, coupled with the higher intensity of establishing those 3 rep maxes, we're going to keep the volume very low in everything else. So you'll see this 20 to 30 minutes run, or a bit more for a swim, or a bit more for a bike, just moving, breathing, keeping yourself awake and feeling good. In those secondary movements as well, you can see we're only doing 2 sets of everything. So very much controlling the volume of how much we do. One key thing to think about, I want to highlight, is on those secondary lifts, particularly on the Friday, we have very key focuses on eccentric. So this is single leg eccentric leg extension. So what that means, we can actually get it up here in the build mode. Okay, so we are going to extend out with 2 legs and then come down with 1. Okay, so we're really overloading that 1 leg. So I want to be aggressive on the way up and then control for 3 to 5 seconds on the way down. What this does is it just hits simultaneously that power output with 2 legs, but then that eccentric loading to really get that hypertrophic effect and control on the way down. Similar on the pull-ups, and this is going to be a theme for the block. Saturday, like I said, we're really looking to mix things up a little bit more, quote unquote, functional training. Just a chance for you to experience some different forms of conditioning, challenge yourself moving between machines and body weight and dumbbells and kettlebells. So really just try and get these going as much as you can. It's a bit of a nice mix up in terms of the variety there. So a bit of a different block, bit of a different week setup, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. And next week there will be a few more changes that I'll make sure I highlight and go over as well.